Hey, what I'm going to do in this video is show you how to set custom AsciiDoc attributes when using the Asciidoctor.js Live Preview Extension for Firefox, Chromium, and Chrome using query strings. Now, in the previous video that I made covering the Asciidoctor Live Preview Extension, I showed how to set custom attributes from the Preferences panel, which you can see here. You can see here I've set the experimental attributes to true and allow URI read attributes to true as well. Now, what I didn't know at the time that I created that video was that you can also set these custom attributes using query strings in the address bar up here, which we'll look into in just a second. So in this video, I'm following up that one by showing how to do so. Now, why didn't I do it? You may be asking. Mainly because I just didn't know about it at the time. When I put out the post that relates to the video and also the video, the Asciidoctor project lead, Mr. Dan Allen, told me that, about this bit of functionality. So I thought, well, why not make a follow-up video to cover it? So let's get into it. In this tab here, you can see that I have the Asciidoctor Preview Live Extension enabled, and it's rendering some AsciiDoc content from a book that I've been updating as HTML. Just to kind of prove the point, you can see here, yes, there's a lot of AsciiDoc behind that, and I'm not just faking it. Enable the extension again, and we've rendered the AsciiDoc content as HTML. However, what it hasn't done is render this image here. You can see that the image is broken, and we just have the alt text. And that's because the images dir attribute hasn't been set. So the extension doesn't know where to find the images, or doesn't know the base path of the images. So what I can then do is come up here to the address bar and add in the images dir attribute and set it to the rather long path that I'll just paste in because it would take me too long to type. If I then set that and then reload the page, you can see here that now that the extension knows the base path for the images, it can then render the image. And I'd like to say it looks quite beautiful. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch. It's a simple Safari window, but whatever. Anyway, now also what we could do is set anything else in there. And if you're familiar with query strings, you can just append one after another using an ampersand. So I'll just set the experimental attribute to true. I'm not sure if I've actually used that in this file, but maybe I have. And then if we come down here, where are we? Yep. And actually, let's see. It seems that yes. Hang on. I didn't actually expect that to render because I forgot that over here, yes, I've actually already set that, set the allow URI read to true in the custom attributes field of the extension's preferences. So if I take that out and I reload the page, you can see here now that the link won't work, or the link to the external content on GitHub won't work because I haven't told the extension to allow that functionality, which is disabled by default. So if I then had an ampersand there, and I add that attribute in there and setting it to true, and the page reloads, you'll see that now the extension can go to GitHub and retrieve the content from there and include it on the page. So, I'm not going to kind of go over and over because there's not really that much to cover. Once you've set one attribute, you could say you've effectively set them all. And anything sort of more than that is kind of laboring the point. But I did want to cover one more thing before I end this video, and that is using query strings and the custom attributes here set in the preferences pane in tandem with each other. Now, this was something that kind of only occurred to me while I was writing the post, which I'll link to in the show notes. And that is that when you set custom attributes here in the preferences pane, they apply to every page that you would preview using the extension. Now, that kind of can be good, but they may not necessarily always be applicable. You kind of see them as sort of global attributes or sort of global variables. They're always available. However, they still can be handy when used in tandem with query strings. Now, why I say that is because when you use query strings, they apply just to this page, but not to any other. So you're sort of coming from two directions at once. So what my suggestion is that you set globally applicable attributes here that are relevant to all content that you would want to preview. And then in a query string, set on a sort of per tab, per window basis, attributes that only apply to, say, this particular page. Now, I don't have examples of one that you would have on a per page basis, but I would suggest that some global ones might be experimental and allow URI read if you have external content such as code examples from GitHub, GitLab, Gitty, and so forth. I'll see if I can sort of think of some more examples and add them to the show notes for this video. But that is my suggestion of using global and what would you say, like per page, per tab attributes in tandem with each other for the most effective sort of previewing experience. Anyway, that's all for this video. If you want to know anything more about what I've covered in the video, as always, you can find it in the show notes. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to know about future content, please consider subscribing to the channel. And I would love to know what you think about the video in a comment in the comments below. And as always, I'll see you in a future video.